Good, thank you. Thank you for the intro.
It's great to have you here. We had a great chat catching up. It's been a while since we've had you on. We had you on a little bit earlier in the year, which was a great time. And then how lovely to be wrapping up the year with you. And I can see all the festive stuff behind you as well, which is just really nice to see.
I made an effort. Yeah, I can't believe it's the end of the year already.
Right? Crazy town.
Mhm.
It's crazy. But thank you so much for joining us. We are live, guys. So if you do have any questions for Hannah as we're going along, or myself, I can see Dark Hours Co. in chat. Alessandra is in chat. Gasp, last one, really. Yeah, I know it's only November, but we have a lot of planning. We have a big year planned next year. We have done over 100 live streams this year with our little team, so it's a lot. But we need a week or two to plan everything for next year because we've got some big stuff coming. So yeah, last streaming day today, very sadly, from the APAC team. But Hannah, we've asked some of our favorite streamers and designers to come on and kind of tackle a bit of a brief. And I know that you've got a really cool thing. I'm looking over to the side because I can see it. But before we jump into that, can you maybe do a little bit of an elevator pitch of who Hannah is and maybe who you are and what you do for anyone that's not familiar?
I'm an Australian graphic designer. I'm a freelance designer and I run my own business. I operate a lot on Instagram these days. So I do a lot of that short form content. So I'm really looking forward to kind of building something out in more than 40 seconds.
Right.
I don't know if I could do it. Yeah, less than 40 seconds. Although I'm sure the algorithm would like me to do
Coming
that.
next, yeah.
Yeah, but I love illustration and color. I love finding new ways of doing things in Illustrator, which saves time or is just a kind of like a new way of thinking about things. And I also really, really enjoy when people find those things and I can just steal off them.
Right.
We will see. I've got some tips, from other people.
Awesome. That's how we all learn, right? That's kind of half the reason
Yeah.
we're here. And I think, it's always loved that, back in the day, I used to sit in a studio and like you're a mid designer looking over the shoulder of a senior designer. And that's how you learn. But obviously these days, so many more individual creators, so many freelancers, it's global, kind of gig based stuff. So it's always great to learn from each other here on Adobe Live and also on Hannah's Instagram. Do follow it because you do fantastic videos. I love your short reels. It's always really entertaining and lots of fun.
Thank you. Yeah. It's like battling the algorithm, get the information in there. But it's always something that's really fun, illustration based. And just like sometimes I sit next to my husband who's working on his PhD and I'm like drawing aliens and monsters and stuff. And it's just like, this is my job. This is pretty weird.
It's pretty cool. It's very cool. It's such a hard thing to do, like getting all that information in a short amount. I'm always very impressed by those who can do it very well. But should we, speaking of long form content, I mean, we've got a bit of time, but we don't have a ton of time. So why don't we jump across and you can explain kind of where we're at today, what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Awesome. We can see your screen now, by the way, as well. I love these. I love these pennants.
So
cool.
We're doing a digital Christmas card. And we're basically, we're doing some illustration here. I'm going to show you some, I like to think of it as like a special technique, like a method that I developed to create these illustrations here, which kind of simplifies it because you look at it and you're like, whoa, I don't know how to get the curves looking right. And we were talking earlier, it's a little bit like iconography where you do want everything kind of lined up, symmetrical, like you want those curves to look right. And this is how I've kind of gotten around the fact that I'm pretty rubbish at proportions. So hopefully I can teach that.
Cool.
And then we've got some pretty cool tricks in terms of like getting these like letters looking right inside the pennants and just adding a bit more depth and detail while not like kind of overwhelming it, finding that balance. So
yeah,
I've got all of our assets ready to go because there's a bit going on, obviously, that's very chaotic like Christmas. And I just thought we would start with this fa la la one.
Nice.
And we'll just get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. And I'll just let everyone know as well, we kind of asked a few folks to come on, like Hannah, to create a greeting card, like a holiday card. And I'm just sharing in chat, and you can also see it if you're watching on demand or on YouTube. Down the bottom, there's a link to a gallery. There's only 2 in the gallery, but Hannah's will make it to the gallery, and Ramesh as well, who will be creating today. And we'll pop them all in there, and if you would like to share them, you're welcome to share them. Go check them out.
Awesome. Yeah, the other two are really cool. Like really cool. I looked at them and I was like, oh no. Yeah, it's just like, oh, okay, my turn. So I'm going to create a background for our greeting card to start with, and I'm just going to, I don't normally work in inches, but the dimensions were in inches, so it's like throwing me off a little bit.
Right.
So we just want to, is it a 4 by 6 inch?
Yes, I think
There
so.
we
Yes.
go. That'll work. That'll be fine, right?
Yeah. It's funny, we
Um,
debated what the size is meant to
oh,
be, and then
really?
kind of did a bit of Googling for it, and realized that the standard size for a like postcard or a greeting card, sorry, a greeting card specifically, was 4 by 6. So we thought, you know what, we'll give the official
Yeah.
dimensions.
The official, yeah, you get the sign of approval from
Yeah.
the greeting cards, like Hallmark, is that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I wonder where it came from originally. 4 by 6.
I'm gonna grab, so I've got this background shape here, and I'm actually, this is something that I learnt in a studio watching people much my senior working, uh, to drag out the edge of the background shape past the artboard, even when you're saving as a like a JPEG, like just for digital use.
Mm,
Sometimes you get that white line around it. I don't know
you
if you've
do.
ever like exported something, yeah, and it's painful. And the way to stop it is just by making your background shape
It's a good
bigger than.
idea. Yeah, it's something weird can sometimes happen, right? Like even if you're perfectly on the
Mhm.
line, you get like a black bar down the like on an edge, or
Yeah,
maybe a white
so
one, and it
painful.
just
Yeah.
it's a killer to watch, killer to look at.
And then you post it to Instagram and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I've just popped it on a layer and I'll lock it. So we're actually going to be, we'll do this one first. And it's using a font from Hoodspa. I'm pretty sure, is that how you say it?
Oh yeah, cool.
We've got our colors. So I've just got like a library of assets basically, because there's no way I could remember all of these things.
Yep.
And we're going to fill in all the little bits with like these, just little like cute little background illustrations. I've got some cool kind of strokes brushes on there. Wow, I couldn't remember that for a second. And so if anyone wants to actually go through that, I can. I just feel like we're going to run out of time. So let me know what you want me to like talk about.
Yeah, because we are live as well. So yeah, if you have any specific you want to ask or you want to see, let us know, because there's a lot that I guess Hannah could talk about here.
Mm-hmm. So this is, we're going to create that fa la la banner shape. So this is the first step, is just to draw out some rectangles. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create some guides for myself to simplify the process. So basically I'm just breaking, and like the chances of me getting it accurate compared to the first one, not happening. Let's just accept that I'm not capable of that. But we're going to kind of build it out just using geometric shapes and keeping it as simple as we can. So I'm kind of thinking about, I might actually grab this here. And so we've basically got 3 rectangles just sitting staggered. And so what I want to do is break it down into, like, we've got this rectangle, and then we've kind of got these 2 rectangles here. So I'm actually going to create another rectangle here. And it really, like, it's not super simple. It's not complicated though. And it's really easy to replicate. It works for like a lot of these different designs. So I've got my base for the first 2, and then I'll grab this. And I think we're going to make that a bit bigger. All right. So this is kind of our, and once you've kind of got that, even after you've used the guides and stuff, you can go back and edit it if you want to update any of the shapes. It's going to be a bit longer. I feel like all of these are going to be longer. Whoop. Okay, so I'm happy with that. What I'm going to do now is Command 5, which creates guides. And they're locked because otherwise I will definitely accidentally move them.
Command 5. Okay, cool.
Command 5, yes. Yeah. So make guides. And I do work away from my artboard because it gets kind of messy, especially if you've locked your guides, then you end up with like just stuff everywhere once you've turned the guides back on, and it's just like, what does it do?
Right.
I'm not giving this file to anyone else yet. So the best approach that I found to this is starting at the bottom corner of your flag And kind of following this pattern, we're creating the outline for this flag. So I'm just creating that, I guess it's a 2 shape. I was going to say an S, but I think that's backwards. It's a 2 shape. I'm using my guides, and I would suggest like having a reference there to help you kind of get your head around it, because it can be, even for me when I go back and do this again, I'm like, wait, what am I making? It can be a little confusing. So it's just trial and error. But so, and then from this point, I'm kind of starting in the middle of this bend, or what will be a bend, because these corners will be rounded. And then making sure all those lines are joined up. Yes, okay. And so now I'm going to just create the inside of the, I guess, flagged, waved bit. So this bit here. And then you can either turn your guides off, or you can just be a maniac like me and copy everything. I don't know, my artboards. I don't know if anyone else does this, but like I just duplicate everything.
I duplicate everything, yeah. Almost every step of the way, I'll just have a different version. But I'll often, and sometimes you look at it and you're like, why am I saving all this old stuff? But I can't not do it.
Yeah, just living in fear, the anxiety. It's too much.
It's like throwing away a cable that you don't need anymore. Like I just can't do it, because I know as soon as I do it, I'll need the cable. So.
Do you have the box of boxes, like the classic box of boxes?
Entire cupboard. My wife hates it. I have an entire cupboard just out of frame that should be full of towels and linen, but it is full of like basically audio and tech cables and plugs and old technology that I'll never use again.
That's relatable. Like as in my husband, yes, and also me. So
okay, well,
both of us, you got a losing battle there.
Yeah, exactly.
So what I did was like I used the corner widgets to round those edges off so that we've got the waved effect. And I'm going to give it just like this little kind of like triangular pattern in here. So I'm going to use the plus key to add an extra anchor point. And like you don't, it doesn't have to be like mathematically pixel perfect. It's just got to look right. But the guides and stuff is just like simplifying the process. So now we've got something that's like, that kind of looks like where we're going. Duplicate again. This is going to get messy.
Love it.
And we will add our text. So we've just got this one, which is Chutzpah. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right.
I think so.
I struggle to not use their fonts in everything I do. That's just so good.
I think they do quite a few live streams, actually. They do quite a bit with Adobe Live, actually. I think there's one on their fonts. Should find it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
I should. I'm like...
Track it down. Yeah, they've done a bunch, because that's how I know the name.
I think they're available through Adobe fonts as well, which is like I've tried to use some Adobe fonts and I'm just going to move this out of the way. Some other fonts which are just out there online, but I've tried to stick with Adobe fonts. But this is like the magic of these fonts is like you can like I'm like, how am I allowed to use this? And I haven't like paid for the licensing. It's amazing. Right. Obviously I have, because I have Adobe fonts, but they're just such good fonts.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll stop banging on about the fonts. Basically my work is not good, but the fonts I use is amazing.
Fonts are so important, right? Like typography is just so critical. Yeah. Like you can do something very simple, but if you understand when and where and how to make readable but interesting type choices, then I think that's a big hallmark of good design.
I think that's a really overlooked part of graphic design. Well, at least on Instagram, where there's like a lot of like color and motion and things, which is that's all amazing. But communicating with typography is like one of the most powerful things you can do, because it's simple and it's just really effective. Like if you understand the language, you're going to be able to understand it, and then using the right typeface. Like this is just a fun, whimsical, but still like a very professional looking typeface. It doesn't
Yeah.
look like you've just downloaded it from like Font Squirrel or whatever. And so you've got this like really fun, but still professional feel to your artwork. And I feel like that's just, yeah, a lot of people um, maybe don't consider the importance of it. I used to teach typography, so I feel like I'm,
Right.
yeah, really
Type
into
nerd.
it.
Yeah, I'm down with it. And yeah, I think it also it's quite nice because it's got the pennant kind of thing and that F. And now that I've heard that you used to teach type, I'd be very careful with the way that I try to talk about type.
Oh,
But
no.
the F is like
Didn't-
it feels very Italian to me. Like I see it, you know,
Yes.
that it has this
Yeah.
kind of. It takes me to like a almost. I don't know. It's like retro, but it's got a little. It's
Yeah,
like
it
a
is.
modern.
Yeah, like
thing.
it on the side of a coffee machine or like just that.
Yes,
it is retro, but it's got that like high class feel.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm wording bad, but you're picking up what I'm trying to say somehow, which is a testament.
Picking up what you're wording. Yeah, there you go.
Testament to you, not to me. Yeah,
Oh.
great.
Right now I'm going to use the shape builder. So this is like my best friend in Illustrator. I love it.
Yeah.
I love the shape builder. I don't have the type selected, but I am going to create shapes out of these ones so we can add some color. And so now instead of lines, they're just like individual shapes.
Right.
Check that out. And we're just going to use this up here to use our white selection arrow and give it some dimension. Okay, so it really is starting to look like a pennant.
Yeah.
And we just started from these kind of rectangles. I'm going to curve this off, and this is definitely more of an art form. You don't want to go overboard with like giving the edges across from these like curved bit here. I feel like if you do it too much, it's just like it kind of loses the flow a little bit.
There was just an interesting thing you did there that I just want to kind of just call out. So you selected both of the edges. Did you just hold down Shift to select both of them at the same time, and then you could move them at the same ratio? Is that what happened then?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So it's like a direct selection. It's easier when they're not rounded, but you can pretty much just select any point in that curved corner and then move them at the same time. If you use your arrow keys as well, you can kind of move through the corner options, which is pretty handy.
So like steps.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's cool.
And yeah, I'm a big fan of like editing multiple things at the same time because then you get that consistency.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
I love working
so now
that way.
Add, oh my God. It just like simplifies it because I'm like, I can't think. Like,
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
You're asking a lot of me right now. Yeah, if I can just do it all at the same time and it's like, it's right, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
We're going to create this shadow here. So I'm going to use the shape builder again. We're going to create just a little box. And I'm going to drag it out so it's aligned with the bottom there. Like I probably should be making sure it snaps, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use the shortcut Command Y because that just allows me to see exactly where that box is. It's working in outline mode.
Yep.
I'm going to pull that in just so I can kind of get a gauge of this corner here. And I'm going to round this off. So again, it's kind of like what looks good, optically aligned. I'm a big fan of using the excuse optically aligned.
Yeah, right. When it's not technically correct, when you're freestyling.
Exactly. Oh yeah. When someone comes back with any feedback, I'm like, it's optically aligned.
Optically aligned? Yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, that spelling mistake is optically aligned.
It's like a poetic license for writers, right? Or like singers. It's like poetic license.
That's it. Yeah, I like it. I'm going to use the shape builder again. I'm going to hold down Option, which then minuses a shape. And I'll do this in, I think, the preview mode. And so I'm actually going, without the font selection, I'm actually going to drag that across. Oh, not that one, sorry. And so it becomes like just a solid shape in that area again, because all we need is this shadow that's not selected. There we go. And then we just use our direct selection to change, and then I shortcut. Okay, and we get our font back. This is something that I really like using outline mode for as well. Makes it really easy to select things behind.
I always struggle with that.
So, but
I'm always too lazy and just sending things backwards constantly. So when
oh my
my
God, yeah.
artboard gets really deep, you've got like hundreds of layers and it takes 4 hours. But yeah, I should
And
practice that. The outline mode, I think, is a really good way to do it.
it's really handy. I mean, that's another thing I got taught in a studio. Like I basically can't take any credit for anything I've ever learned. I mean, but that's how learning works, right?
None of us can. Yeah, exactly. So interesting. It's interesting that you didn't just copy the other one. Why is that?
I could, yeah. I was actually just going to demonstrate it again, but
Cool.
yeah, you should be able to just copy it, especially because I mean, let's just do that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to just
No,
like
no,
cut
no,
out
no.
a whole.
I was like, will I
If you guys,
demonstrate it again? But
you guys want to see it again, you let me know. You let Hannah know. But
no.
yeah, I was
be
just
honest,
curious
yeah.
because when I was watching before, I was like, I know that it's exactly the same because you did that
Yeah.
mathematical approach, and I thought maybe I missed something, and it was slightly different.
No,
but
no, no.
you know, cool.
No, you're on the money.
All right.
Okay, so if we're happy with that, and again, just like I probably will outline this now. So I'm just going to, spinning wheel of death. Does anyone remember the shortcut for outlining type? Or is that
Command
just in,
Shift O.
will I try?
I had to look at my keyboard.
Oh, yeah, like all those are muscle memory.
Yeah.
I always just expand. I don't know if it's like the right approach, but it's the approach I take, and I get there in the end.
Yeah. Whatever works.
And so we've got our first pennant. I'm going to group it, Command G, and then this is one of the easiest things from this point. So instead of like trying to figure out how to curve it all and make it look right and match the curves, even like duplicating the curves, I'm just going to use the warp tool.
Cool.
So warp, I just start off with an arc, even though we're not going to use an arc. And I tend to use rise, or I've got a feeling maybe it's flag. I mean, flag is appropriate, right?
Literally a flag. Yeah. That's amazing. You found the like perfect use case for that filter.
Yeah. That's
Imagine if you didn't use that. Some developer at Adobe's just like, really?
what? Yeah.
Like I made it specifically for this one case.
Yeah. I just get banned. They're like,
Yeah.
stop my subscription. Okay. So
That's
that's how that's our pennant. And then when you're happy, so like from this point you can go in and tweak it. Like if the corners don't look right, even though you've got that effect applied to it, you can go in and tweak it. And then once you're happy with it, expand, Bob's your uncle.
That's awesome.
So I feel like it's like, and you get the font, the type that like mimics, like goes along with the curve too.
Yeah.
Which is, I actually have a feeling I haven't applied that here. But it kind of just makes it look a little more like it's meant to be.
Yeah, like the one on the left, you may have done the warp and then put the type over the top, whereas in the second one, you did the type and then you've warped it all together, which does give it that like extra little bit of attitude, I think.
And you don't have to like you don't have to like shear the type or
yeah.
The less thinking, the better, in my opinion. Well, in my case, because my thinking is questionable.
It's all of us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to know. I was going to move on to maybe this one here. It's nice and simple. It's really fun. I feel like there's always a time to use just a pennant, and you can add the warp effects and stuff. It really depends on what you're using it for. And this is a trick that I learnt on Instagram from I think his handle is Kill Kato, and I think his name is Steve Williams. Don't quote me on that though. And it's just, I think it's my favorite, or one of my favorite tricks from Instagram. It's just so good.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm going to use this as a reference because it takes me a hot minute to like get the proportions of this right. But we're going to start with, this is more simple than the other one. We're going to start with a rectangle. I could have created a triangle, but that's just, we didn't do that. It's like ascending to the back. Like, yeah, I could have just like outline mode, but I didn't. And here we are. We're just going to add this little bit here. Make sure that's straight. I'm going to add, oh, we'll just update the colors because that is kind of not an attractive color palette right there. For these little bits here, so I'm going to create a rectangle. And instead of just like using, like spinning it, I'm going to use the shear so we get the straight edges. So I think this one here, and I'm just going to grab this corner, hold shift so it kind of stays straight, and that way we've got those straight edges on the end rather than like sitting at an angle.
Cool.
All right, we'll duplicate that. Reflect, can't remember the shortcut for reflect, but anyway, we'll get there. We will align these two. Again, I'll use outline mode, and you could definitely go in and like do this technically perfectly. I am not going to do that.
Yeah.
Align those points. That's pretty wide, but you kind of get the point on that one. So I've got the white in front. I wonder if I could just, oh yeah, there we go. So it's a little bit thinner, but that's okay. Rotate. And then chuck it on the end there. It's smaller. So these look a bit nicer, I think, but I don't want to spend too long working on those.
Why do you think they look nicer?
I think the proportion's just a bit nicer, and like
Right.
I've made a few pennants, and that's more realistic. Like sewing that would be an actual nightmare.
Oh,
So,
right, like a physical
yeah,
pennant.
yeah. Oh yeah, like
Wow.
I feel like I'd just be like, I'd throw it in the bin. I'd be like, I'm not doing this. So
Wow.
let's get our font, which I don't think this is on Adobe Fonts. I think I got it from Envato Elements, I think. It's called Block Letter though. Well, I have no idea why my Illustrator has been doing this over the last 2 days, but whenever I update a like retype the in the box with the like it rewrites the style, so
Oh, really?
like change it. Yeah, I don't know if it's a bug or something, but I've just got to like redo it.
Does it default to
Return.
like Myriad Pro or something like that, or does it default to?
No, it goes back to the previous, like that one there.
Yeah.
This should be the block letter, but goes
Oh,
back
but
to
once you start typing, yeah.
yeah. I don't know what's happening. I should have like reinstalled it, but I didn't. So we just roll with it. Okay, so I've tracked it out a little bit, and I am just going to expand that so it's easier to align it. Okay. And we're I always find like really thinking about the spacing. Oh, I regret I regret expanding that now because I needed to track it out more. But anyway. The spacing in these types of pennants, because it's such an awkward shape,
Yeah.
it kind of gets really tricky. And so if we grab that.
I see. So it's done it again. It's almost like there's a space or there's like an invisible letter in front of it that is the different font. I want to solve your problem.
Yeah, please.
I won't. I want to, but I can't.
Oh, thanks.
I'm just trying to think of why it would happen if it was.
I don't know. That's hidden characters on.
Yeah. That was my guess. That was wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's switching. It's defaulting. Why would it
Well,
do
you did promise to not solve the problem, so you've held up your end of the bargain.
that? I did. I'm nothing if not honest. Useless, but honest.
That is untrue. Okay, so that's also tracked out way too much. I'm getting distracted. I apologize. So we're going to tighten that up a bit because we want to fill up the space as much as we can. We're just going to go with 0 tracking and see what happens. I'm going to expand it. Okay, and so if you kind of just tried to like actually transform it to make it fit, it's probably going to be like, it's going to take ages and it's going to look weird and it's really hard to edit. It's really hard. It's really easy to like get to that point with your type or whatever you're working with, and it's just a mess. And if you're not neurotically duplicating every single thing, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So this is one of my favorite things is we'll jump into the brushes. I'm going to, with this expanded and selected, I will add a new brush, go art brush, and it's white so you can't see it, but we're just going to leave it stretched between those two, and it's added our brush right there.
Okay, so you turn the outlined font.
Yeah.
So it's outlined into
yeah.
Okay.
And art brush.
I'm with you.
This is just like, when I saw this, I was just like, what? Sorry, what? Give this guy a PhD. This is crazy. I've got a straight line here, which I will just change the stroke so we can see it. We're going to head up here. We're going to apply that art brush.
Right.
And then I'm going to go Shift W, which is our width tool.
Oh, you're stretching the line. What?
I know.
Wow.
So it's like giving me a curve, which is not what I want. I can assure you this works. Yeah. So, and then you can like, there we go.
Wow.
What magic is this?
I've never seen that before.
This dude is like, yeah, you see some good stuff out there, but you're like, oh, I kind of see how you got there. It's just a new take on the same thing. This blew my mind. I was just like, stop it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And so like, yeah, it's so useful. And we're going to grab this one. So I don't know if you're playing along at home, but I did post a version of this where I spelt it with the E at the end.
Oh yeah, I love that.
And yeah, someone was like, oh my God, I didn't know that's how you spelt it in Australia. And I was like, haha, it's not.
You just got to roll with that. You're like, yeah, we just spell things, differently.
Yeah, I really commit to it. I'll do it on the live stream.
Queen's English.
And so you can like kind of move it around and stuff, edit it. Oh my God, what a dream.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, it's so cool, right? Cannot take any credit for that. It is just incredible.
Amazing.
Okay, so not as great as that one, didn't spend as much time, but we'll pop that there, and then we can expand and change the colors. We might just grab some little, we got here, so little bits and pieces. I don't know if this is overkill or not. I just tend to like digitally bejazzle everything.
Right.
So we just like pop everything in there, and then once you've got that, you can kind of figure out like, all right, this looks balanced, or and it adds another layer. So I feel like adding the shadowing in there adds another layer. So it's not just like a flat kind of graphic.
I think that's the thing, right? Like it looks more computerized if it's a flat vector, especially with vector art. Like it's nice to have a pattern or a bit of texture or something to break apart the computeriness of vector art, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's all we look at, like our phones, right?
Yes, 100%.
And so, I mean, any requests for which one we will probably end up finishing with? This one, it's a little more complicated. This is very similar to that. Maybe we'll start with this one and I can just show you how to do the edge of it there, because I feel like that's really handy. You see that in icons a lot where they've got like a piece of paper, like a paper icon or whatever, and it's got that curved upper edge. And
do that.
I feel
That'd
like all right, let's go. We should actually grab a copy of it.
It's really cool. Hey, there was a question I missed earlier on from Alessandra, and she asked, what's your favorite thing about Christmas or the holidays?
Me?
Me? You. Yeah, it's a question for you, our guest. Sorry, the people want to hear from Hannah. Alessandra's heard of me talk a lot, so yeah, definitely you.
She's asking you the same question every single stream.
Yeah, she probably knows the answer before I would. But yes, the question was, what's your favorite thing about Christmas or the holidays?
Oh, I love spending time with family. Like I really enjoy, like we drive around and look at Christmas lights, and we're in Dubbo, so it's not popping off like it would in Sydney or something. But you know, I can't say there aren't some good ones out there. There's a couple of Christmas dinosaurs. I love the food. I love a
Sorry,
dipped
Christmas
butter.
dinosaurs?
Oh, sorry, did I just like
Yeah.
like inflatable Christmas? What? Maybe it's just a Dubbo thing.
Yeah, maybe it is.
There's
Christmas
a lot of Christmas
dinosaurs?
dinosaurs, yeah, in Dubbo.
That's
We
awesome.
got to look forward to something, yeah.
Yeah,
So 'tis the season
of
to get your
course.
Christmas dinosaurs out and about.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, just family food, obviously.
Yeah.
I really enjoy we do like a secret Santa, but you kind of what is it like a white elephant
Oh, okay.
where
Yeah,
you
yeah.
buy you buy like the dumbest gift you can think of, and then someone has to deal with it.
That's cool.
Yeah, so they can like trade it in, like you can just swap amongst each other. Like that's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I just enjoy the whole thing. Like the lights up and everyone's getting into it and like Christmas photos and stuff.
Hmm.
And I would like to know what you like about Christmas. Can I ask that?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's the same thing. Like we both have kids, so you know, it kind of that's the main. That's definitely the number one. We do a sort of for about the last 10 years we've done in our family call it Make Christmas. So as the family was getting bigger, we get a random person in the family's name out of a Christmas hat, and you have all year to make them something. You have to make it. You can spend money, but the idea is that the majority of it has to be a made present. So no one does anything until December. It's a mad rush,
Yeah,
like any deadline.
naturally, yeah.
Yeah, so we make stuff.
That is a
but
tradition, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Oh wow, that's
it's cool, but I think it's coming to the end of its life. Like I think everyone's getting a bit tired of how much effort it takes. Because some
like I
people
like it, but
smash it. Like
can
some
you just
people
get me a
do.
gift voucher?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
a bit
really?
it's a bit like that. I think we're getting I'm anticipating some blowback this year.
Oh,
Because I was
really?
all for it, and then yeah, it's taking its toll, I think, on some of the folks who were like a bit
It's
over
actually
it.
a source of trauma. You're like, I love
Yeah,
it, but everyone's completely traumatized.
it's evolved, like because one or two people always like just do it like something amazing. They're like, I don't know, it's hard to give an example, but like something really precious, and then someone else is like, I got no idea, I made you bowling pins out of wood or something, like
Pretty cool.
yeah, but yeah, it's
That
tough.
sounds like a toxic tradition.
So here's the thing. My mum loves it. So there's always like a family photo of everyone holding the thing that they made, and
Oh, this is the coolest thing.
she
Like,
absolutely
I want
loves
to be
it.
involved.
Yeah, it is fun. It's a fun thing to do. But like I said, I think there's a growing mutiny among some of the
Maybe you need to
some of the
opt
family
in.
members.
That'd be so
Yeah, I
funny.
think it might have to be like either a cash limit or you can choose to make. I think might be
Yeah,
might be the
right,
next
yeah.
evolution, because I think some
What's the
people
worst thing that someone's made? Like, has there been
um,
something that's just been like the
yeah,
worst?
my older brother, who is like the biggest like anti the whole situation, he did a actually it's quite a funny story. It's making me laugh already. Really early on, when no one really knew what we were doing, for my younger brother, who is like in his 30s now, so he would have been in his mid 20s. He made him like he got a car that you kind of make with you glue it together or something. So it was like a toy for like a teenager or something. And my brother, clearly having no idea what to do, like made it, but he was up the previous night. So his wife came in, she was just laughing the whole time. And she couldn't stop laughing when he was trying to show the thing, because when you make it, you basically put the pieces together and they kind of melt like a little piece of plastic or something. Like it's almost like soldering.
Okay.
It's almost like soldering, and it makes this kind of 3D car out of these 2D parts. But it gives you a little light to like warm up the melting process. But it's for a kid, so the light doesn't do anything. It's like an easy bake oven. So apparently he was up until like 2 o'clock in the morning, holding the little light. And then his wife came out and went, "What are you doing? The light doesn't do anything. That's just for kids."
Doing it.
How good is it? It's just a little LED light. I'm glad you like that, and I hope I didn't distract too much.
I think you should keep the tradition. I
You're
really
right.
do.
Yeah. So that's all we
Okay,
spoke
so-
about all Christmas was.
I mean, I
yeah.
can't top that. I can't top that.
Oh dear. Yeah. Oh my gosh, we've only got like 2 minutes left.
Okay,
Back to
yeah,
design.
so there we go. So
Yeah.
this one's kind of like it's almost like a half, and I struggled to get the formula right there. But essentially, what you do is instead of that being a it's like a mental image.
Yeah. I love it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's great.
Let's get rid of these. So that would just be a box there, and then you kind of got to round off the top corners here, and having that reference to just get that kind of pattern where it waves in and out.
Yeah.
And then if you really wanted to, so I guess I could probably finish with grabbing this one, and that's just like graphic at the top, jumping into the warp tool again. And I mean, that doesn't look great. So using the flag, you can go vertical and kind of give it, the text really moves with this one, which I really like.
Yeah.
It can be a lot, so you kind of need to make it subtle.
Yeah.
But it just gives it like a fun, whimsical kind of feel. And so that's our kind of straight one there. It really depends on what you're doing. I think my thought process was keep it like kind of consistent so that it doesn't look too chaotic.
Yeah.
But I like that you can kind of go in and easily like edit it, and even subtle bits of the warping really give it that movement. And
Yeah,
you don't
definitely.
have to try and illustrate it. Like you can just kind of like,
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
And so on the left is your card. We are going to have to wrap up because I don't want us to get cut off. But yeah, it's so cool. Thank you so much for this. I love the tip of creating the you putting your typography as a line.
As a brush.
As a
my
brush.
God.
Thank you. Yeah, as a
like,
brush.
yeah.
Really cool. Really, really cool. I love that you give credit to who you found it from as well. But that was really cool. Yeah, it is at Kilcato on Instagram. So go give them a follow as well as Hannah as well. So your handle, is it at Hannah Bacon? Is there anything else in there?
At hannah.bacon.design.
.bacon.design. Okay, fantastic. And that is down the bottom in our, I was going to say show notes. I've been talking about podcasts too much lately. In the description of this live stream in YouTube. So go and check it out. Give Hannah a follow if you're not already. And happy holidays.
Happy holidays. See you next time.
See you next time. Thank you again, Hannah. I really appreciate it. And we'll catch you all. Oh, we're back in like 15 minutes. I'll be back with Ramesh. So come and jump back in and we'll see you then. Bye.